Today, I want to give you 6 tips to get the most out of your therapy. First, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm Long Island's eating disorder specialist. I post on this channel twice a week, all about eating disorders, body image issues, and general mental health. So if any of that interests you or you think it could be helpful, definitely consider clicking the subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to my email list using the link in the description below. And what that'll do is you'll get weekly newsletters with all the new content that I'm going to be putting out that week, and I provide resources that I create to go in conjunction with many of my videos that's going to help you get the most out of the content that I'm putting out there. Today, I want to give you some tips on how to get the most out of therapy so that you are getting the most effective treatment possible. And stick around to the end for a bonus tip. Tip number 1 is to make your treatment a priority. So many people think that it's something that you do if you have time, or that it's a privilege to do, or that it's something that, oh, well, if I have another commitment, I'm going to take that over therapy. That is not something that is really going to get you the most effective treatment and most effective therapy. You should make yourself a priority. Therefore, if you are a priority, your health should be a priority, and therefore treatment needs to be a main priority for you over anything else. And I'm not saying that means that you drop all your life at that moment, but it's something that if you need to make some sacrifices, or you need to be dealing with some time changes, or maybe it's going to be a little inconvenient, you need to do that because you need to be able to take your treatment, and that needs to be a priority for you over other things that are not going to be important if you don't have your health. Tip number 2 is to hold yourself accountable. I made a whole video about this, but you need to make sure that you are openly communicating what it is that you're struggling with. You are communicating your thoughts, your struggles, your feelings with your therapist so that they are able to actually help you. It does not help you or help anyone if you're not giving them the information that is actually useful. If you are just kind of going in and making a conversation as opposed to actually talking about the real issues. And I'm not saying that that doesn't happen at times, but it is important because you do need to build rapport and trust. But there are times that it's really important to recognize if you are just kind of skirting around the issues or trying to avoid talking about the real issues. So it's really important for you to be accountable to bring up the things that you need to bring up to your therapist so that you can actually work through it. Tip number 3 is to be honest. It's incredibly crucial that you are honest with your treatment team. If you are not honest, and I'm not going to say that you are totally never going to get better, because the eating disorder can be super tricky. If you're struggling with the eating disorder, it can be very sneaky and do whatever it takes for you to lie, because when you're honest about the things that your eating disorder is making you suffer with, it loses its power over you. What happens is that when you're honest, it gives it so that other people can help you, and it's a threat. It's an existential threat to your eating disorder. So it's very difficult when you have something screaming in your head to lie and to not be honest, but it's very important that you hold yourself accountable to make sure that you are honest with your therapist about whatever it is that you're experiencing, and if there's maybe something that you have been holding back. So if you have been kind of holding on to maybe a lie or an omission of sorts, don't feel that it's too late to bring it up. It is never too late to bring it up to your therapist, and it's not something that they'll judge you for. I have had clients who have opened up about something that maybe they weren't so honest about at the front of the treatment, or for whatever, maybe during treatment. But I always make it known that that's just part of the process, and there are things that are going to happen, and it's not something that they should judge themselves for or be hard on themselves for. It's just part of the process, and it's better late than never to open up, because it needs to come out at some point, and it will. Tip number 4 is to do the work. It is so important that you don't just go for the 45 minutes or maybe an hour that you have each week, or maybe twice a week. It's important that you're doing the work outside of therapy. For many of my clients, or if not all my clients, I have little assignments of sorts. And that's not to say that you're going to go home and write an essay. Sometimes it's writing, sometimes it's just trying to work toward a goal and to make baby steps. But I normally do leave my clients with something to work on over the next week, because that is really important. Because what happens is that you're with me, let's say 45 minutes a week, or with your therapist 45 minutes a week, and then how many minutes is that without that? Treatment doesn't just occur in the session. Treatment occurs outside of the session. You need to take what you learn in session and actually apply it outside of session. So it's really, really important that you work hard to do the work and try hard to do the work that you and your therapist speak about. Tip number 5 is to journal things that occurred during the week. I hear so many times that my clients say, oh, there was something that came up and I just can't remember what it was. It was big at the time, but it just totally slipped my mind. I'm trying so hard to remember and I wanted to talk about it, and then it's just gone. And yes, is it good that you no longer are impacted by that in that sense? Yes, but chances are if it happened before, it'll happen again. And if it happens again and you didn't talk about it earlier on, then you didn't get the benefit of learning tools that could help you through that experience. So what I recommend to my clients, if they often have forgetfulness with regards to things that happened during the week, or even if they don't and they don't really realize that it was something they should have talked about, it's something that just going through it at a later date, what happened in the week, maybe you might realize that there's something that's coming up about something that really should be talked about. So I always give all my clients at the beginning of our treatment a journal for them to write down things about what's going on in their life or whatever assignments that we talk about. And I ask them to bring it in each session. And in those journals, many times people will write down what happened in that week, and then we talk about it and pick up on that maybe she forgot about and forgot to bring up, and then we're going to actually address it. So journaling is really going to be helpful for that forgetfulness factor, and it's going to make sure that you're talking about the things that you need to talk about in your sessions. Tip number 6 is consistency. What I mean by that is that you need to be seeing your therapist consistently. What I ask for up front with any of my new clients is a weekly commitment. Nothing can happen if you are going further than a week span. And sometimes you even may need more sessions during the week. But to start, I always ask for a weekly commitment. And I'm not saying that you can't go on vacations or that sickness doesn't happen, but we do our best to make sure that we maintain a consistent weekly schedule more often than not in overall. And the way that I particularly work is I have an assigned time for each of my clients that we discuss and that works for both of us, so that it's the same thing that's expected every single week. And of course, if things come up, I work with you the best way that I can so that we can maintain to have a schedule. So let's say if your session is every Monday at 3, it's important for you to set aside that time and to not make things over that time, not make other appointments, because Monday at 3 is always the time that you have your session with your therapist. And that's why consistency is also really helpful, so there's no surprises. And it's really important for you to try to maintain that time slot or whatever you and your therapist agree upon, so that you're making sure that you don't risk missing too many sessions. Now, my bonus tip is to reflect on your sessions. And I have a worksheet for you that I sent out at the beginning of the week for reflective questions to ask yourself after therapy, after each session. You can also ask yourself some of the questions periodically just to make sure that you are doing the best to get the most out of your treatment. And what's awesome about it is that you can share it with your therapist even and discuss anything that might come up from that. And if you're watching this video at a later date, of course you can get access to that worksheet. Just make sure you subscribe to my email list using the link below. You'll get a welcome email, reply to that welcome email requesting that you would like the resource for this video, and I will absolutely get that over to you. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below about any accountability tips that you have to get the most out of your therapy. You could click my face over here to subscribe to my channel. I wish you get the most out of each and every one of your therapy sessions on your journey to finding your state of balance, and I will see you in my next video.